Now that I'm 100% independent, I'm making some radical changes to the show. First things first, I've hired a marketing team, a focus testing group, the same team, in fact, that helped Sega create Sonic Boom. And using their exact words, I've popped a load of bandages all over my shit because those fucking idiot children lap it up. So here we are, welcome to the new look Jimquisition, now with 100% more bandages. Well, I mean, obviously it's tissue paper because I cobbled this together in less than a minute to make a point, but you get the point, right? Every time there's a new Sonic game, the peanut gallery says Sonic hasn't been good for years, the Sonic cycle gets brought up, and people talk incessantly about how Sonic has no dignity left. The thing is, that's not been really strictly true lately. You know, I hate Sonic Colors, but general consensus seems to be that it was quite good, even if it did have problems. Conversely, fans may have disliked Sonic the Hedgehog 4, but I thought it was pretty great. Meanwhile, I think a ton of us agree that Sonic Generations was a true return to glory for Sega's maligned Hedgehog, and while Sonic Lost World had some severely troubled elements, it was a decent idea, and it had some great mechanics at work, making for a pretty decent game overall. Then Sonic Boom happened. Fuck me raw if Sonic Boom didn't fucking happen. After making baby steps toward decency, Sega has Sonic and Chums radically redesigned for a heavily promoted multimedia product, and the result is perhaps the worst Sonic game since the notorious 2006 debacle. At its best, it's mediocre and banal, but it's visually malnourished, littered with glitches, and basically very, very broken. In my review on the Jimquisition.com, I said that Sonic Boom reminds me that I'm going to die one day, that I'll die alone, and that it won't matter when I die. It's that cocking miserable. I'd say Sega shat the game out, but there's honestly more dignity in squatting on the floor and pinching off a chocolate steamer than there is in publishing Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric, and Lyric is a fuck-awful name for an antagonist. Sonic Boom is more than just another shitty Sonic game, however. It's the absolute perfect example of what Sega's big damn problem is with the one-time mascot of a popular line of consoles. There's a reason why nobody takes Sonic games seriously, why popular opinion suggests that there's never been a good one in eons, and why nuggety clumps of fecal trash like Sonic Boom happen, and it's all to do with Sega's insecurity, Sega's inability to remain confident in its own product, and its tendency to make expected negativity surrounding Sonic into a self-fulfilling prophecy. See, Sega simply cannot let a good idea simmer. Rather than stumble on something successful and build upon that success, it throws the baby out with the bathwater every single time. Sonic games have gone through more redesigns and overhauls than perhaps any other franchise, and that's going to have a net negative effect. I mean, let's look at the desperately wild changes we've seen from game to game over the last few years. Sonic Unleashed had to introduce a werehog for tons of puzzle platforming and brawling segments, then Sonic Colors threw that out for aliens that gave Sonic magical powers before that got abandoned in favour of a pure 2D side-scroller in Sonic 4. Fuck that noise though, because Sonic Generations came to marry Sonic Adventure-style roadrunning to classic Genesis-style platforming, and we barely had time to enjoy how good that was before Sonic Lost World reinvented the wheel yet again to be a bit like Mario Galaxy. I reviewed Lost World for Destructoid, and it was more than a review, it was an entreaty. I practically begged Sega to take the nucleus of a potentially great idea in Lost World and build on it, evolve it, grow, polish and improve it. It was a really good idea at heart, and it could have led to great games if Sega had just stuck with the fucking thing, but no, not good enough for Sega. It decided to go full fucking crazy and redesign every single facet of Sonic from the ground up. The result of all these constant, desperate and seemingly clueless shifts in style is a schizophrenic series that's never been able to improve itself. The reason why Sonic is considered so shitty these days is that even when it has a great game, Sega never capitalizes on it and instead desperately tries to change everything again. Sonic had two chances to alter its fate in the past few years, with Generations and Lost World providing excellent jumping points for a solid, dependable new direction. But it seems Sega is so paranoid about the reception its games get, it'd rather burn everything to the ground than risk sticking to a consistent plan. Let's face it, even the great Sonic games of late are released with plenty of design problems, but those problems could be ironed out if Sega took the bloody time to work on a single concept. It's hardly surprising that every single Sonic game is littered with problems, because that's what tends to happen when you're preoccupied with baseless, insensible attempts at innovation, placing the need to be new over the need to be refined, evolved and fucking good. Sticking to formula can get stale, certainly, but Sonic's never given the chance to get anywhere near stale. Meanwhile, Nintendo's games are all fairly straightforward and rarely change the formula, but they are highly refined, evolved, and perfectly polished games. The Legend of Zelda has the exact same structure each time and lays new gimmicks over the familiar blueprint, and it works. The Mario games are simple and traditional, but beautifully elegant as a result. They don't overcomplicate, and the result is quality and purity. And also, Link fights Ganondorf and we love it. Mario fights Bowser and we love it. Why the fuck does Sonic get a new charmless, forgettable eldritch abomination to fight every fucking game? Or some stupid robot snake called Lyric, which is still an utterly dumb name, by the way. People like Robotnik as a villain. Nobody gives a fuck about fucking Lyric. Just stop it. Sega, know your strengths. Some companies can innovate and shake foundations and some can't. And you, oh honey, you just plain can't. Honestly, what I think should happen is someone should be hired to stand in the Sega offices with a rolled up newspaper, and every time someone working on a Sonic game raises their hand and says they have a new idea, that man should have full legal rights to smack the other guy around the back of the head and go, no. Okay? No. Here's Sonic, he runs fast a bit, goes round a loop-de-loop, jumps on a robot's head, fights the fat man at the end, job's a good un. Thank God for me, the only man with any fucking good ideas around here. And bandages. Yeah?